This is my third video, episode 3. We have so far been discussing the geometric properties of multiplication and the square root. Our main focus was to establish a mathematical relationship between the boundary or perimeter of a square or a rectangle and the enclosed area, or as shown below, the relationship between red, which represents boundary line, and black shade, which represent area. So the red color actually is the boundary line, and the shaded black is the area. We need to recover one from the other. That's our objective here. So, in the case of square, it is pretty straightforward relationship. Multiply two adjacent sides and we will get an area. 4 times 4 is 16. Conversely, take a square root of 16 and we will get one of the side of square, and that is what it is. But for a rectangle case, it is easy to get the area from adjacent side, like 2 times 16, 2 times 16, but recovery from area towards its perimeter is almost impossible. But we cannot recover boundary information because there could be infinite many factors, such as 4 times 4 could be the factor of 16, 2 times 8, 1 times 16, 0.5 times 32, and so on. Therefore, we turn to second degree polynomial equation for help. Here we have a single variable x, which can represent two numbers at the same time, such as x square minus 10x plus 16 is equal to 0. So, this single variable x can give us two roots, 2 and 8, which are the perimeters, which are the two sides of the rectangle. And this equation is solved through normal way, and we get it in this fashion. One part is under root and the other part is 10 by 2. So, it is divided into two parts, part 1 and part 2. The right side has two parts, part 1 and part 2. Each part tells a different story. With the knowledge we have gained so far, we know that the square root relates to a square area. So, the square root is always related to the square area. We can get the square area, we can get the boundary information from the area only in the case of square, but in any other case we cannot get the boundary information. So, perimeters of rectangle is almost impossible to be had if because it could be 1 times 16 or any other. So, okay, here. So, the second part belongs to some square area, which is this one. I kept the under root symbol here just because to mention that this is not a number. like this number could be equal to 3, but that 3 wouldn't give us any idea what this 3 mean. But here under root 36 by 2 means it belongs to some square area, because our main objective here is to see the geometric interpretation of the numbers. There is a relationship between the numbers and the geometry, and so we continue having the numbers, but once the numbers are solved, once the square root has been evaluated, the numbers actually lose their information. That's why I kept it in this form. So, but if I ask you to tell what part 1 has to do with the square or rectangular area mentioned above, so the part 1, this part does mention about the square, but this part we don't know what this part tells us about, and that's our question right now. That's our investigation, because if we evaluate both these parts, we will get 2 roots, but we are dissecting this equation right here, and we want to know what's each part has a significance has a geometric significance. That's why we are dividing it into 2 parts. So now, but if I ask you to tell what part 1 has to do with the square or rectangular mentioned above, you probably would pause like most people. I want to pause here too, because my main objective here is not to impart knowledge, but to kindle imagination. This truly is a human trait. This is what sets us apart from artificial intelligence. Ordinarily, we just crunch numbers like machine without paying attention to their real significance. We most of the time behave like computer. Give us a quadratic equation and 2 roots would spit out. But I have dissected the equation into 2 parts. I just want to know the real geometric significance of each part and want to know their geometric interpretation. I want you to enjoy the moment by thinking about it, and then we will discuss that if your thoughts just coincide with my thoughts. That's why I named this one as a new mathematics, because it's just it's a different way of thinking right here. Here also I really appreciate the value of a subscription, because if you subscribe me, then probably we will go along together and we will see how these things turn out to be. Thank you.